Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for the 2023 MLS Virtual Madness. My name is Ren. I'm part of the marketing team at the MLS, and I'd like to get started with our 2023 president, Matt Ogden.
Thank you, Ren. It's great to see we're just about to surpass the 150 mark. Thank you all for joining us at our first MLS Madness of 2023. We are excited to see so many of you join us today as we present some great new products and services, which are part of your membership to the MLS. 23 is positioned to be one of our most innovative years yet. We're all seeing how quickly technology is advancing with artificial intelligence and more. AI is certainly the hot topic right now. Rest assured, we are staying on top of these trends to provide you with up-to-date products and features made for the real estate market. I'm excited for our MLS staff to talk to you today about some of the solutions we've been working on through a fun online training circuit. The topics are going to include the up-and-coming Vesta Plus mobile app, which is super exciting. That's coming out soon. The neighborhood snapshot, advanced search, Kubi Casa floor plans, Showings Plus, and more. We're also going to have a keynote presentation by Realtor.com economist Hannah Jones, who will provide a 2023 housing market update. I'd like to thank our CEO, Annie Ives, our directors, and of course, MLS staff for making this event possible. So let's get started.
Thank you so much, Matt. We appreciate you joining us this morning, along with our members who carved out the time to learn about all these great products. But before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. So just to let you all know, if you haven't attended a Madness before, each topic will be presented for 10 minutes in a speed training style. The recording for today's event will be emailed after the event. So rest assured, if you want to watch any of the topics over again, it should be very easy to do so. The agenda will be posted in the chat as soon as we start with our first topic. So keep your eyes peeled for a link to the agenda. And if you have any questions, please do type it in the Q&A section. We have our staff here today who will be looking at the questions, answering them, and guiding you through today's event. But most importantly, today's event is about having fun. We want you to have fun while enjoying all the great MLS benefits that are available to you, most of them at no additional cost. And we have some great prizes today, some of the best I've seen. If you stay through the entire event, our final prize for today is an iPad Pro, which is sponsored by Realtor.com. So definitely stay all the way through the end. Now I'd like to, before I present our first speaker, here's a look at the schedule. Again, I will post this in the chat, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We're going to cover several topics, and we have some great prizes throughout. Now, without much further ado, I'd like to present Jonathan. He is our UX designer, and he's going to present Neighborhood Snapshot.
Yeah, hello everyone. So my name is John, and today I'll be showing you the Neighborhood Snapshot. There's a bunch of training we're going to do today, so we have a lot of things to show you, very little time. So we're going to kind of go over just the basics of this and try to cover as much as possible in so little time. So again, we're going to be discussing the Neighborhood Snapshot here. The Neighborhood Snapshot is a powerful market analysis and reporting tool that will allow you to generate advanced statistics and trend lines that will help you gain a better understanding of your market. So we're going to begin with the widget on the member dashboard. You can start analyzing your market directly from the member dashboard with this widget. There are two key features that I want to highlight and we can dive into from the widget. We have the trend line and we have the snapshot. Both of these are free for Realtor members to use. And I will be covering some of the pro features that you can unlock as well with the subscription. The trend line will provide a visual representation of the market over a long period of time, let's say 1 to 5 years, which allows you to quickly view trends that are developing in your markets. The snapshot is a great way for capturing data for a shorter period of time, maybe by quarters, and allows you to compare it to previous years. So first, we're going to start off with the trend line. First thing you can do is you can select one or up to 5 locations that you want to view the market analytics for. Locations include areas, cities, subdivisions, or zip codes. You can even have your own custom shapes be a part of the statistics. So if you have a intricate shape for your specific, let's say, farm area, you can incorporate that as well into the snapshot. Then you can choose a timeline. So again, you have 1 to 5 years or max years, which will go as far back as our data. You can extend the timeline as well by including the current month, which I'll go over later. And then finally, you can select a property type, then click on Run Report directly from the homepage. This will then take you into the trendline report. So it's going to crunch all those numbers on the MLS using all the data found and visually display this information in a trend. This trend line can also be displayed in either a line or a bar graph. And for this one, we're just going to stick to line. It's a little bit easier to see. So the neighborhood snapshot will provide access to several metrics right away. So right now we're looking at homes for sale. And you can see on the left-hand side all the available options that we have. Some of these metrics, for example, sale price, will allow you to toggle between averages or median numbers. So whichever one is more appropriate or whichever one you prefer to use, you can switch back and forth on a few of these different metrics. And as you can see, it's very fast, it's very speedy, and it gives you information on all of those areas I had selected at once. If I want to hide a few of these, maybe I want to just isolate them and look at one at a time, I can click at the top here, and that will then isolate that area and allow you to focus on just one. If you hover your mouse over any of these data points, you'll see the exact number that's represented for that month. So for example, pending sales here will cover March of 2022. And if we go to the very end here, you'll notice that it stops at February. We're looking at full months of data. So because February was the last full month we had, this is the last point that's going to be on the chart. You also notice that if the market has a lot of volatility, it may not provide the most clear picture of what could be happening in your market. So we have a few ways that we can kind of smooth this out. So let me find, for example, new listings. You see a lot of up and downs. It might be unclear exactly where it's trending. So to help with that, we've created a way to change how each of these points is calculated. So you can have each point represent either a month's worth of data, 3 months worth of data, 6 months, or 12 months. And as you select these options, you'll notice that the volatility smooths out. It provides a clearer picture, and it can also assist you in accounting for things like seasonal spikes or unusual fluctuations in the market. And this gives you a better idea of how it could be possibly trending. So if you would like to see partial data, so let's say you do want to see what the data looks like for this month, even though it's not quite done yet, you can actually include the current month of data by checking the box that I mentioned earlier in the widget. It's also up here at the top, so you can always update that information on the fly at the top here and even add more addresses or more areas. And then once you're here, you'll notice that now if I go over to the last data point, I'm getting partial information. So it's almost done. We're almost towards the end of March, so it kind of gives a better picture. But what it'll do is it'll calculate what data we have so far for this current month and display it. Just be aware that if you use it at the beginning of the month, you might see a huge dip because the month is barely beginning, so we just don't have a lot of information compared to the prior months. Okay, so now that you have all this great, amazing information, what are you going to do with it, right? So we have a few options available that you can use to share this report. First, if you just want to look at the raw numbers, you can export this information into a CSV file and take a look at it on any of your spreadsheet applications. You can also print it out. You can generate a PDF or you can share it. Generating the PDF will allow you to, give me one moment. So when you generate the PDF, it'll allow you to have a cover letter as well associated with that information. And it will look something like this, where it will have your logo. You can even include who you prepared this report for. Your information will be available as well for them to see. And then it will allow you to see all of the metrics that we saw on the left-hand side here in their own individual chart. So each chart for all the areas that you've selected. Okay, so now we're going to go into the other share options that we have. For example, we have our typical email, SMS text, social media, and the option to embed the link. So if you want to post this onto your social media platforms, you can. And when you're sharing the report, you have two options to choose from. You can choose live data or static data. Static data will never change or update. So what you're seeing now is what you're going to see a month from now or a year from now if you were to go back and look at this post or view this link. Live data has the benefit of being up to date constantly. It's constantly getting refreshed. At the end of every month, it will refresh with the prior month's information. So if you look at this report from a year, it'll look a lot different. It'll show you all the information from that time period. So live is a great way if you know it's something that you want to constantly maintain or view as the time changes. Shared reports will also include your header with your branded information at the top of the page. All right, so now let's go into the snapshot portion of the report. So now we're looking at the snapshot. So snapshot has several options, and the first one we're looking at is the analytics. Similar to the trend line, you can adjust the snapshot to display as a graph or a line. And you have access to the same metrics. So as you see here on the left-hand side, you'll have access to the same information. The difference between the two reports is the snapshot has a smaller time frame and allows you to compare data with previous years. So here, in essence, it's just giving you a snapshot of a period of time. So for example, all these prior years, I can compare up to 1, 3 to 5 years, and I can see what the market looked like during the same month a year ago. They also, at the top here, we can also now go into some of our pro features. Pro features are unlocked through a subscription, either monthly or yearly, and it gives you access to the report, the flyer, and embed. So with the report, you'll be able to take a look at the total sold volume, total active listings, closed sales, and some sold listing information down here at the bottom. It provides an option to also view changes from the prior year. So for example, you can see how it's been trending or how it's changed from a year-to-year basis. The flyer is great for providing a complete picture of your selected locations with detailed information on active and sold listings and even a list of sold listings. The nice thing about the flyer is that it presents information on a single page, allowing you to provide an easy way to market this information to your clients. And it also gives you opportunity to change the way that the text is displayed and the information that's on the header. And then lastly, we have the embed. So if you have a website, let's say you have a property website or a private website, the embed will allow you to include this neighborhood snapshot report directly on your website. Any visitors that you have come into your website can take a look and see what the market looks like. And all you have to do is take this iframe code, plug it into your website. If you have a website builder that's iframe compatible, you just copy it here. And you can even choose which tabs they have available. And you can select the property type and information that they're going to view as soon as they see it. So in summary, the neighborhood snapshot is going to assist you in being able to stay up to date with any recent activity in your neighborhood. It's going to help you predict where the future of the market may be heading based on past performances. So again, they're available at no cost for our realtors. The pro features can be gained with a monthly or yearly subscription. And then coming very soon, MLS only members will also be able to subscribe and gain access to these great reports. So that does it for me, and we'll move on to our next presenter.
Great. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Neighborhood Snapshot is one of my favorite tools in the system. It's a lot of powerful data at your fingertips. So for those who haven't used it, I highly encourage you to take advantage of Neighborhood Snapshot. And we have webinars and training available for any of these topics. So today's event is meant to be fun and fast-paced, but if you want a more in-depth learn more in depth about Neighborhood Snapshot, please do sign up for our webinar. Now, I'd like to present a very exciting topic. Our project manager, Usman, will be giving you a first look at the Vesta Plus app and also letting you know about tech help.
Thank you, Ren. Good morning, everyone. I think I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you, but my name is Usman. I'm the product manager here at the MLS. So the first thing I'd like to introduce to you guys is a new service that we're excited to offer. Our tech help is going to be available to all of our members, and we will be offering you a various level of support when it comes to anything non-Vesta Plus or any of our software suite related. So if you have a question about a new computer that you have, if you get a new iPad, you're trying to connect to your printer, or you get a new webcam, um, anything related to any of the hardware that you use day to day, if you're trying to install a new antivirus software, if you have issues with Word, Excel, we're really here to offer you low stress, very easy, friendly tech support type of service. And the excellent thing about this is we'll be offering it for a few months for free. So the first 3 months will be free, and we want you guys to engage with it, see how it's how we can ease the stress of your day-to-day technological needs. Especially as Matt alluded to at the beginning of the call, technology is always evolving, always changing, and new products are really going to be hitting the market. I mean, at all times. So we're here to ease that transition and also ease the stress behind a lot of those common elements and questions. So again, it'll be free for the first 3 months, and we'll be giving you guys a more of a preview in the next couple months as well. So keep an eye out for our newsletters and more information on that. Okay, and okay, from there, I'd like to transition into our much anticipated app. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we've been making quite a bit of progress here in the last 6 months or so since I've been here. So we've worked on, and as the focus group knows, we've worked on various elements. We've taken a lot of feedback. We've also looked at a lot of our competitors' products and done a deep dive comparison into what we can offer and where we can give you guys a solid advantage, being not just an MLS member, but being part of our entire software suite of services. This will be another tool at your fingertips. So many of you, of course, have not seen this, but our focus group has been really pivotal and focus and giving us our direction as well as shaping our vision into what our agents are looking for and things we really heard. And something that has been very key on our radar is facilitating that communication between the agents and clients. The market is obviously evolving and changing quite a bit. And as technology progresses, we want to be here at the cutting edge of that as well. And I'd love to show you guys kind of a little bit about what we've done, a little bit about our roadmap and where we expect to be with our pre-summer release of the app. Okay, so just really high level, we can see we have our map screen. This is your landing page. You're able to do, various functions like you would on the desktop, obviously in a mobile format. So we're taking advantage of a lot of the key features of a mobile phone, GPS features, as well as touchscreen. So, and really the key here is ease of use. So you're on the fly, you're driving around, you're able to quickly and easily access the data and do your searches, as well as sort through your listings, make any edits, updates, changes to your listings as well as help you manage your contacts. So I'd like to show you just a couple quick features, and we'll go from there. So here I can see I'm on my landing page. I can see my map. If I want to do a quick search, I can come up here and I can tap into our search bar. So I'll select a city or area. So as we can see here, we're now given auto suggestions. As I type in into our intelligent search, it starts to recognize the string, a set of letters. It's going to be either a city, area, possibly a subdivision. We're allowing you to search for other fields as well. You can search by MLS number, APN number, zip code. So here, what I'll do is I'll select an area, Beverly Hills. So as you can see, we've got a border around our area. I can also see that the listings that now reside in this area. Again, I can pan, zoom as needed, and really see like all of the listings that are matching my criteria as well. So, and I can further filter that if I go into my filters. So here we've taken feedback from all of our members as well, tried to find an efficient, high value list of items that people look at often. Also, we looked at our data, looked at what fields the other agents commonly use. And as you can see, we tried to keep it a solid balance of accessibility, usability, as well as not overly complex as well. So what I will do is I'll just select, maybe I'll refine this a little bit. I can see my result count also updates as that happens. And show results. Okay. Now, if I select a listing, it will pull up. Okay, I can see basic information on the listing. I can also see we have highlights as well. If there's a open house coming, if there's a virtual tour, if it's newly listed, we try to highlight that as well, send you a badge. A similar experience to what you may see on another app as well. We can scroll through the pictures. That's easily accessible at your fingertips. We give you basic information on the card itself. And from here, I can see more details by clicking on the card. I can come into the listing detail report. Keep in mind, we're still in an alpha phase. Not all of the information is 100% complete or built out, but we're going to have, again, a lot of the functionality in our beta release. And as we release that to the agents, we want to be able to get your sign off and then roll it out subsequently to the clients as well. So just quickly, we can see some of the information. A lot of this is expandable. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but we allow you to see like a lot of the pertinent information that you guys want. Okay, I'll just go back here now. A couple more quick functions. If I want to view maybe something nearby, or if I want to be able to see listings that are near me, there's a icon at the bottom right which centers me to my GPS location. So here I'm at the Claw location today, so it's centering me here. I can also pan and zoom at different levels. I do have a filter on that you can see. I've selected a couple filters in the previous example, which are still there. I can modify those if needed. And as I'm in here modifying the filter, we easily allow you to save the search as well, name the search, also assign the search to a client. So a lot of that management is as seamless as possible. We've tried to really reduce the number of clicks, as well as try to make things very easy and within a few clicks. And that again has been a lot of the feedback we've gotten from the focus group. So if I go back to here, I can see as I pan out, we can also see the number of listings. I start to see that they cluster. We have, quite a bit. As I zoom back in, I can also use a draw tool, which is right here, and I can click on that. I can search a specific area by drawing. And again, that gives me all of my specific pins in that area for me to look at. And here there's quite a bit that we're also rolling out in the future. So besides the features I mentioned, safe search, a lot of those other options, we're also allowing you to manage your listings, make edits, add any details you want, update, create new listings, as well as manage your contacts, any of their activity, manage their searches. You have access to your carts here, showing management, also being able to manage your client searches, your own searches, set those up, your hot sheets. And all this will roll up into, other features of the phone as well. A big initiative we have here as well is pushing out activity and alerts. So notifying you, notifying your client, you want to send, you want to recommend a property, you want to highlight a property, that will be sent to the client as well, and it'll show up as an alert. They'll get a notification on their phone as well as an alert in their activity feed, so they'll be able to see a rolling history of what is being communicated with them from the agent themselves. And so here, I'm wrapping up on that, and really, I think one of the exciting things here is as we come up to our beta release in the next couple months before pre-summer. I think the exciting part here is really that we have taken a lot of your feedback, and we've gotten a lot of those. We've matched that with our data. We've internalized that with our team to taking into account a lot of the common issues and maybe inefficiencies that other apps may have, and you'll really appreciate the merge of our expertise, ideation around our feature set, and we're really excited to have you guys try giving the app your full attention and engaging with your clients through it as well.
Thank you so much, Usman. This is some really exciting stuff. You got a lot of positive feedback from attendees today, and I think what's on top of mind is when will it be available? I think you mentioned pre-summer beta will be wrapping up. Does that mean that our members will be able to access the beta version by summer?
Yes, so that's been the $1 million question here. So we've got on our roadmap, we've got quite a bit of progress done, and here we're looking to release this pre-summer. So look to get it. We'll look to push out an exact date, but I would say pre-summer is what you guys can expect, and from there we want to get that into the hands of the agents. And once you guys have had a chance to flesh it out, look at our beta release product, and if you're comfortable with it, we would then take the next big step and let you invite your clients. So this summertime is it's going to be very exciting.
Excellent. Yes, I do see a question here that the app is not currently available. That's correct. It's not available. Beta will be available hopefully pre-summer. Please do check your inboxes, your messages, the marketing materials that come over to you. It'll also be available. We'll put messages in the system as well to make you aware when the beta app is available. I think this is wonderful, and we will keep you posted on more. This was a great first preview official. Usman has done many focus groups and done a lot of work to make sure that the app really meets your needs. So if anyone has any feedback or questions regarding the app, please do email marketing@themls.com and we'll get your questions in the right hands. Now we're going to move on to our next topic. It is about how you could create free and easy floor plans using Kubicasa. So I'd like to introduce Jose. He's a trainer at the MLS. I'm sure many of you know him because he does office visits. If you would like to schedule an office training, again, email marketing. We'll make sure to arrange that for you. He also does one-on-one trainings if you want special attention and step-by-step guidance. So Jose, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Ren. Appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. Yes, today I want to talk to you guys about Kubicasa. It's an app that you can download and install on your mobile devices. You just go to the App Store or the Google Store, download Kubicasa. That's Kubicasa. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and show you a quick way of how this works. So once you download the app, okay, so I have my screen here. You want to go ahead and install that. And first thing, you want to go ahead and set it up. It's an easy setup. You're going to use your email that is connected to the MLS. And then that's going to go ahead and allow you to register, create an account, and start scanning and using Kubicasa. So I already have it installed here on my mobile device here. I'm using my iPad here. And as you can see there, one of the icons right there is Kubicasa. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. I already have registered and signed in. And so basically what I want to do here is once I open up Kubicasa, this will go ahead and allow me to start a scan. The great thing about this, it uses your camera on your device and also the microphone on your device so that when you're scanning, you can speak the name of the room or the area that you're scanning so that it puts it into your scan. So I'm going to go ahead and start a scan here. So I'm going to click on scan a space at the very top. Next thing I'm going to enter here is an address of the location that I'm going to be scanning. So I'll go ahead and just use that address that I have there. And then I just press start scanning here at the bottom. That's then going to go ahead and take me to the next step, which is select the property type that I want to scan. Single unit resident, townhouse, apartment, or other. I'll go ahead and select single unit resident and hit next at the bottom. That's going to go ahead and allow me to, it gives me some instructions. All right. And so you want to make sure that you're focused on the floor where, the floor and the wall meet. You want to avoid fast movements. And it does let you know that if you're going too fast, it'll tell you slow down. Or if going too slow, and if you're too close, it'll warn you that as well. And as you can see, do not scan ceilings and do not move any like any fixed furnitures or anything like that, because it does detect that. And avoid scanning the area multiple times, right? So once you read that information, just click I understand. It's going to go ahead, and since I'm using my iPad here, it's going to ask me to move. And then now you can see it'll say that, allow the microphone so you can say the name of the room and then start scanning. So I'm going to press that button to start scanning. And basically, like I said, you're going to be pointing down towards where the wall and the floor meet. So basically, I just start walking the property, start scanning. And like I said, it'll detect anytime there's like any furnished or any like tables or islands on the kitchen, so on. And then I start moving, right? So once I'm done, I just press stop recording or stop the scan. I'll say, yes, I want to end. And now it's going to go ahead and allow me to upload or send that to Kubicasa. Kubicasa is pretty good at sending back the orders to you. Within 24 hours, you'll have that scan emailed to you, right? So first thing I want to do, obviously, is I want to hit the one that I just scanned. I want to press, and I want to make sure I can review that scan if I'm happy with that scan, if I need to make any updates or changes, and then I just hit send. That's going to go ahead and send that. You see there's my email that's connected to Kubicasa. I want to make sure that's my correct information, hit next, and then I can go ahead and select some options. There are some paid features. It is free. All the scans are free. Black and white are all free. It'll include the name of the room and the dimensions that are, when you scan the property. But you can also, if it's a furnished, you want to include the furnished, like I can go ahead and check that box. And it's $15, but as a MLS member, you do get a 25% discount on all your purchases through Kubicasa. But when I select fixed furniture, you can see there, like on my scan, it'll include like if there's any countertops, any, the restrooms will show like the tubs and the sink and toilet. If it's any countertops or an island or anything like that, it'll show you all that if you purchase the fixed furniture option. Also, the GLA report is a PDF file if you want to download it as a PDF file. Or if you need this within 6 hours, if you need to have the scan and within 6 hours turnaround, you can also check that box and they'll send you the scan in within 6 hours. Other than that, within 24 hours, it's free. They'll send you that scan. So once you're done, you go ahead and select next. And once you have all the information here, You just hit send order, and that'll send the scan to Kubicasa. Like I said, within 24 hours, you'll get that scan emailed back to you, right? So once you have that scan emailed to you, let me go back to the beginning here. All your scans, all your orders, all right? Once you go ahead and go back into the app, you see your orders there. You can click on my orders. All the way at the bottom, you'll see that I have one that's already been processed and it's ready. So I can go ahead and just tap on that, and I can click and download the floor plan just by clicking floor plans there. There's some options you can download. The very first two, which is PNG and JPEG. We recommend JPEG or PDF because that's what we accept in the MLS. So you can upload that to your listing. But the first two are without dimensions. The next two right in the middle are with dimensions included. And the last option right below is that GLA report, which is a PDF option. So whichever option you want to download, we go ahead and let's say I want to download the ones with dimensions. I'll click the JPEG tile there. And this is a scan that I did here at our office. And I did a quick scan, and this is the free version. Excuse me. And so it'll say the name of the room. Let me zoom in there, and the dimensions. And it's all automatically detected when you're scanning the property, all right? And so once you download this, you save it on your system, and all you got to do next is just upload it and add it to your listing. So let me share my other screen and show you how it looks on an actual listing. All right, so once I download that scan, I go to my MLS, I log in, I go into my listing. So I go to Slim, add edit, select residential. And now I can add this as a photo or as a document if I have the PDF as well. So let me go to Slim, and just by adding a regular photo on your listing, you're gonna go ahead and upload that. Just add a photo or as a document, like I mentioned. So I have a listing here that I added that scan that I did. So what I do is just go to my photos, hit upload or edit photos, add that scan. And once I add that scan, when I go and look at, when other agents or anybody's looking at my photos, they'll see that scan that I uploaded to my listing. See, so I'm looking at my photos here. And as I'm going through the photos, you'll see that one of my photos there is that scan that I did on that property. And so it's part of your photos, or like I mentioned, you can also add it as a document on your listing if you don't want it to be part of your photos, okay? You can also go to the Kubicasa website, and you can manage all your scans. You can also, if you want to, purchase the furnished or the 6-hour turnaround, right? So you can go to the kubicasa.com website. As you can see there, you do get 25% off for being an MLS member on all your purchases. And when I go to the account details here, I can purchase and see that I can add the furnished and 6-hour turnaround and all that information there. So, so again, this is an app you download, you install on your mobile device, and it's free. The black and white version is free. They also have an option where you can do like color, the GLA report, we could like where you can have like the different rooms in a different color and to, help you identify the different rooms as well. So that's Kubicasa. Wrapping up here, any questions?
Okay, it looks like no questions. Our team has been answering all the questions posted in the Q&A. So thank you, Jose, for that presentation. Kubicasa is a great new member benefit. Make sure to take advantage of it. Now we're going to jump to our first prize of the day. I'd like to introduce Mari Bell. She's part of the marketing team here at the MLS, and she will present the first prize.
Thank you, Ren. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you're finding the information valuable. I'm excited to announce the first prize of the day, and that is a $25 Amazon gift card. You must be in attendance in order to receive the prize. So Ren is going to spin the wheel. Go ahead, Ren. Congratulations, Linda. You're going to receive your prize within the next 24 hours. Be on the lookout for an email with your electronic gift card. And for everyone else, please stay tuned until the end. We have more prizes coming up, including an iPad Pro.
Great. Thank you, Maribel. Now we're going to move to our next topic. It's Search Like a Pro using advanced features, presented by Jonathan.
Cool. All right. Welcome back, guys. So we're going to keep it moving. In this segment, I'm going to be highlighting several tips and tricks that you can take advantage of to become a more proficient in using your listing search and some of our reporting tools. So the first thing I want to jump into is utilizing our map to the most efficient way possible. So no search is impossible is if you know how to handle the tools that we provide to you. So we're going to begin with a simple radius search. So on the top left corner of our map here in our listing search, we have a search bar where you can enter an address. For example, I can enter an address here, and it will provide me any suggestions based on the matches that are found. Once I have selected a match, then the system will place a pin on that location for you and allow you to enter the number of miles that you want to search from that particular property. So this is great when you're doing CMAs and you're trying to find comparables around your subject properties area. With the pin in place, you can enter the number of miles for coverage. For example, I can do half a mile with 0.5, click on draw, and you'll see that it instantly creates that shape. Now all I need to do is select my statuses like active, hold, maybe active under contract, and I could start to shape this CMA that I'm creating. You can also manually resize the shape by going to the edge of the circle, clicking and holding and resizing it to another shape or another area that you'd like based on the radius that you want to expand out to. So now that's pretty simple. So now let's make this a pro search. Let's make this a little bit more advanced. You're a pro, so you know your area like the back of your hand. You understand the market. You understand that maybe properties that are on a certain side of the street are not comparable at all to properties on this other side of the street, right? So you want to be able to adjust this map to fit what your knowledge is of the area. So what we can do with this is we can exclude a smaller area within this large area by drawing another shape. There's a draw icon here on the top right corner that you can click on to access our draw tools. And one of them is our polygon tool. With our polygon tool selected, you can draw another shape. Let's say I want to exclude anything that's south of Olympic. I understand that these properties are not really in the same ballpark as the ones that are north of Olympic in this scenario. So here I'm going to draw this shape by just clicking on the map, outlining that particular area within the circle that I have. And now I have two shapes. All you need to do now is click on the number for that shape, select the exclude option, and this will turn the polygon blue and remove any results that are in that area. So now I have a much more focused CMA, getting more accurate results as I'm looking at these comparables. So now let's clear this and take a look at some of the things you can do with our map layers. Map layers are accessed in the top right corner here under layers. There's a drop down where you can see all the different layers we have available. Layers will display right on top of the map as outlines. So for example, if I select the area layer, you'll see these boundaries on the map telling you how exactly what the boundary for that area is, the area name and the area number. So we have them for everything from subdivisions to cities to even school information. For example, with high schools, I can select that and I can see all the high schools in the area. There's two options when you're using the layers. There's a search and a view. The search is great because it allows you to click on any of these boundaries on the map and it will add it to your search criteria. So by just selecting that boundary, it's now included in my search. And it's a great way to do school searches because it's basing it on that location. So anything that's within the boundary will be brought up as a result. So I can continue to add more locations if I wanted to by clicking on them, or I can remove them by clicking on it again to disable it. And you'll notice that it adds this thicker blue line around it, letting you know it's now included in your search. So now let's go over what the view does. View is a little bit different from search because it doesn't let you click on the boundaries you add. But what does allow you to do is draw shapes. So this is great when you come across a scenario where you may have a client that is interested in properties that is within a certain elementary school, let's say, and they have an older kid and they want to be within also a certain high school. Now you can't view those layers at the same time. With the search, you can't click on them at the same time. But with view, what it allows you to do is allows you to take your custom shapes and draw an outline around that particular school. So here I have this Horace Mann Elementary School outline. Now I can go back to my layer, switch to the high school. And now, for example, I can add another shape for this Beverly Hills High School. And I'm just kind of hastily going through this. But as you can see here, it gives you the flexibility of being able to view layers as a guide and show you where they overlap. So now I can have these two different shapes. And once that's completed, I can see everything that's within that particular area. Shapes can be saved as well. So if you want to reuse this shape for a later time or another search, you can go ahead and save that. Okay, now we're going to jump into a new report that we've created called our all-in-one report. So our all-in-one report can be accessed directly from the reports by going into, let me clear this. By going into our reports dropdown. So you may already know that we provide several report options that you can switch between, and each of these have their own uses. But we've created a brand new report, which we're calling the all-in-one report, that can fulfill all these needs due to the amazing customization options that are available. So you can select the all-in-one report from the reports dropdown, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that now. So this is what the new report looks like. It's a new modern take on our reports, and it has lots of options available for you to customize and make sure that it has the information you want it to have. So one of the things you'll see on the left-hand side is a gallery. So you can switch between different properties in your search results very quickly using this list. You can also hide it if you want to, and that will push it over to the side. You'll see the nice, beautiful pictures of the property. And as you scroll down, you start to see the listing information. The report includes a couple of toggles at the top as well. There's an agent view and a client view toggle, allows you to quickly change what type of view you want to see. A client view will hide any sensitive information that you may not want your clients to see. And then the agent view will have all the information that you're expecting. Now let's take a look at some of the new information that this report will give you. So some of the things that you'll see on this report is that it provides not just MLS information, but it has the added benefit of including public record data. This is great because it reduces your work from having to switch between the MLS and public records and go back and forth as you're reviewing a listing. Now all that information is in one place. The public record data can be spotted by the badge or by the color. So you can switch the format and you can choose the different colors that you're viewing. The report also includes a section, as you'll see here, for estimated valuations. So we hear all the time from agents how their clients are always using the Zestimate to gauge how much their home is worth. And we also hear how widely inaccurate that Zestimate is and how agents hate it. What we've done is we've incorporated two awesome valuations in this all-in-one report. The first one is Plunk, home value. With Plunk, it's the world's first and only real-time AI-driven property valuation platform for residential real estate. So AI is a big topic nowadays, and Plunk uses several methods to attain accurate real-time data. So that includes AI, machine learning, real estate, and non-real estate data. And in the future, you'll be able to expect an option to refine that value as well to improve its accuracy. And then we have Adam. Adam provides a lender-grade quality valuations using robust statistical models and market metrics. Adam also provides a confidence score, which represents the precision of their estimate. Both of these are much more reliable than your typical Zestimate. And finally, the key to this report is how customizable it is. Up here at the top, you can click on Customize, and you can change several parameters all in the all-in-one report. So this includes what information is being shown to you. For example, you can hide any fields that are empty. You can also choose which categories you want to display and the order that they're displayed in by dragging and dropping these on the right. And you can also change the format that the public record information would be displayed. So you can choose from the badge to the color. So in summary, the all-in-one report will provide greater flexibility than ever before. It's able to accommodate any use case that you may need without you having to switch between those different reports that we have. The benefit of adding the public record data with MLS data will also save you time, and it will reveal any significant differences at a glance. So make sure you check out the all-in-one report the next time you run your search.
Great. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Appreciate that presentation of advanced search. And as many of you see, the team here at the MLS is working real hard to bring you new products that help make your work easier and more efficient. So now we'll move on to our next topic. If you've ever been interested in knowing how your listing is performing, then you could take advantage of the list track tool. A list track will be presented by our trainer, Jose.
Yes, thank you, Ren. All right, so let's talk about list track. If you need to pull up like metrics on your listing and statistics on your listings, you want to see, how many views your listings have had in the MLS and in other sites, and also, how many times your listing has been shared, where in the area or location that your listings are being viewed the most. That's when we use list track or our click counter. So to access our click counter, you want to go ahead and go into the listings menu, and you see the third option there will be listing click counter. That will go ahead and connect you to our listing click counter report. And so the first thing you'll see there is all your listings. So here on the left side, you're going to click on listings, and you're going to see all your on market listings come up. All you got to do here is click on view online analysis, and that'll pull up the actual analysis for each individual listing that you click on. You can also view your off market listings just by tapping or clicking that little button on the top left there to switch on over to off market listings. And if you need to pull up any statistics or metrics on your off market listings, you can just go ahead and click on that view online analytics button, and that'll pull up the analytics for your off market listings. But let's say we go ahead and want to view one of our on market listings. We go ahead and click on one of our listings. We click on the address, right? So all the addresses will show up here on the left side. We go ahead and click on the address, and that will go ahead and pull up the analytics for that property, that listing that you're viewing. And so you're going to view different information, different metrics in this report. You'll see that at the top, it'll give you like the total views for that property, inquiries, how many times has been requested information for that property, how many times has been marked as a favorite through the MLS and these other third-party sites like Zillow and all these websites, homes.com and other MLSs as well that we share data with. And also how many times it's been shared, how many times it's been email, text. You'll get that information right here. But we also break it down into the individual metrics. So you'll see that the total views you'll see by different websites. So we have like Vesta Plus, which are members of the MLS that log in and click on your listings and view the information. You also see like homes.com and other websites. Zillow will be in there as well, and other MLSs that we share data with. You'll also see metrics on visitors, like how many times they've gone through different websites, the MLS.com and Zillow and all these websites, and how many visitors that have viewed your listings through these websites each individual day. You'll see the breakdown for depending on the timeline period that you enter. So on the top left, you'll see like you can enter the last 30 days, or you want to be specific and put in a specific timeline to view the metrics. Next, you'll see also the location or the markets where most of the views are coming from. So you'll see like on the map right there, you see like a heat map right there where it shows you where most of the views are coming from. So you'll see that on the map as well. You'll see also similar homes that are match or are comparing to your property that you're looking at, and how many views they're getting on these other websites. So also inquiries, like I said, if anybody requests information and your property is being inquired, you'll see that details as well. how many times is marked as a favorite and where it was marked as a favorite. So if in this example, you see homes.com was saved or marked as a favorite through that website, and it was done once, depending on how many times it's been favorited. You'll also get shares, how many times it's been shared through different websites. So here you'll see that Investa Plus, this property that I'm showing here as an example, was shared 20 times. So you'll see here on the left side the number of shares. And so now if you want to share this report with your client, right? If you want to share the owner's requesting you to share the analytics, the metrics. So what you do is you once you go back to the listings right here, there's a button that says schedule delivery of seller report. Just clicking on that button will allow you to share and also even schedule automatic updates for your clients. So you can set like every week to send weekly, or once a month, or once a quarter, and it'll automatically start sending updates with the latest results, up-to-date results based on how many times it's been shared, clicked, and so on. And so what you do is when you click on that button, and if you want to preview what the client is going to be receiving, just clicking that preview button will show you a preview of what the client is going to actually receive when they open up that report. So they'll see like the statistics for that period. Again, by default, it's set to 30 days, but you can change that timeline. And so for that period that you select, they'll see the total amount views, total amount shares. They'll see like the property photo and the top 10 websites where they're getting the most views, and the top 10 cities or location, the market where they're getting the most views. You can brand this as well. You can add your photo, and you can put your contact information and all that. You can copy the link and share that link, or you can download a PDF if you want to print this report as well. And so that's all part of the listing click counter or the list track report. So now if you want to access this, we'll go back to the MLS here. And like I mentioned, you just go to the listings menu, go down to listing click counter, and that will go ahead and connect you with the list track click counter report. All right, so any questions? It's pretty straightforward there.
So I think everyone has been really enjoying all the products we've been presenting so far. So thank you, Jose, for going over ListTrack. Now we will review Showings Plus. Jonathan, it's all yours.
Okay, cool. All right, welcome back, guys. So here we're going to be discussing in this segment our tool, which we call Showings Plus. Showings Plus is a showing scheduling tool that will provide agents a quick and easy way to book showing appointments, receive requests, reminders, and manage all your showings all in one place. So we've seen other showing scheduling tools before, like Showing Time, and we felt we could do a much better job. And we felt that their tools were lacking and that their interface wasn't the best. So what we've done is we've come up with our own version of that called Showings Plus. And to get started, we're going to show you first how to request a showing. So we're going to start off as a buyer's agent. We found a listing on the MLS, and my client would like to go view this property. Now, you'll know when a listing has Showings Plus enabled on it because it will have this widget on the detail reports. So you'll see this option here that will say request a showing with an option to click on request to make that request. The best part about Showings Plus is its integration with other showing scheduling software. So for example, if another agent using another MLS system, for example, has Showings Time, then what they can do is they can basically communicate with each other, and our Showings Plus platform will communicate with their Showing Time platform, and it will be a seamless way for our agents to communicate with theirs, submit the requests, receive a request, and make any updates and changes without the other agent having to go and use another system. So you may have seen this widget already, which provides an option to submit the request. So we're going to go in here and click on request. And what this is going to do is allow you to start selecting the information, the details of this request. The first option is to select what type of showing you would like to request. So we have two options here. We have in-person or virtual, depending on what the seller's agent implements or accepts. Here we only have the option for in-person. Then we have the option to choose a date and time that you want to view this property. Any dates that have already been reserved will not appear here. So there will be no chance that you're going to get a double booking type of scenario. Then underneath, you can confirm your contact information. You can choose how you would like to receive these notifications. So maybe you prefer a text so that you can get notified right away on your phone while you're driving about, looking at maybe other properties. And additionally, you can add a note to the seller's agent that you want to include. Any details that maybe they want to be made aware of, or maybe there's some type of restrictions or something like that that you want to find out about. And then finally, you can check the box acknowledging the rules, click on continue, and submit your request. Once you're submitted the request, the seller's agent will receive an email. So it will look something like this, where it will show who's submitting that request, the date and time of that request, the message that you had left them, and an option to take an action, which we'll go into in just a little bit. So sometimes the request will be approved automatically, depending on the seller's agent and how they set that up. So there is an option to auto approve. If you're a seller agent, you can just make it always yes if it's available. That way you don't have to go into the system or your emails to make those confirmations. So now let's see where you can manage all your showing requests. On the MLS, you can, there's a few ways to access this. You can click on listings and click on showings plus from the menu. Also back on the home page, we have a portlet or a widget for showings plus here, where you can manage anything. You'll notice now I have 4 new alerts letting me know that there's some activity that I have to review for my showings. The first thing I want to show you though is the calendar. The calendar is where you'll be able to go and manage all your showings. So you'll see here on my calendar, I have a few already submitted requests. Some of them are approved, some of them are different statuses. So the requests that I submit and the requests that have been submitted to me will both appear on this calendar. So you can see any incoming ones with the arrow going down and to the left. Any ones that I have submitted as a request are up and to the right. The orange indicates that it's pending. And if I go to my activity, I can see that there's some action required for me to be able to approve this showing request. So I can click on this and you'll see on the right-hand side, I can choose to make it available if it's if the time or date is inconvenient to me, or maybe the property won't be accessible. Or I can click on confirm. I can send the agent a message as well, the buyer's agent. I can let them know information about the property, maybe how to access the property, or any important information that they should be made aware of. All right, so now let's go over to the other side of it now, as a seller's agent. As a seller's agent, when you enter your listing on the MLS, you'll have the opportunity to enable showings to be scheduled on your listing and get that widget to show up. To enable the showing feature, when you're creating the listing, you can click on the showings tab and there'll be an option there that will say enable showings, yes or no. If the listing is already created, you can also enable showings by clicking on the actions icon and going down here to showings plus, and you can enable it there. But the easiest way to do that is, again, by clicking on listings, selecting showings plus. And within showings plus, there's a tab at the top that will say my listings. And here you can edit the settings for your listing as well. You can hit edit and you can modify everything from the type of showing that you would like to be able to receive. You can choose the duration of the showing. You can choose the availability as well. This is great if you want to include any blackout dates. For example, maybe Sundays are off limits, or there's certain days of the week that are coming up where you have scheduled work. You can include them as a blackout date to ensure that no one else can schedule an appointment for that date and time. Showings Plus is also great because after the showing, it's able to submit a feedback survey to the buyer's agent. So you can see the feedback that you have received on the property. You can see a summary of that feedback that's been collected and their overall impression of the property. And if there is a scenario where maybe the other party that has contacted you wants to view a property that you have listed and they don't have access to Showings Plus, what you can do is you can book that request on their behalf. There's an option on the right-hand side that you can click on Request and allows you to put in the information that they're going to book the request for. You can say who is requesting the request or who is requesting the showing. So that ensures that that date and time is reserved. So if you're getting an agent from out of the area, they want to see this property and you know they're going to be coming in at this date and time, you can go into Showings Plus and make sure that that time is not available for other agents to reserve. So it's a great tool. It's a great feature to be able to manage all this information. Again, you'll be sent emails or texts if you select that option. Anytime there's a showing request, a confirmation, a cancellation, or a list property is not available. It will also send you a reminder an hour before the showing that's confirmed, letting you know that you have a confirmed showing at this property address. So it's a great tool to help you manage showings, request them, and again, it offers seamless integration with other showing software. And that's it. We'll move on to our next topic. If you have any questions, again, use the chat. We'll be happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you so much, Jonathan. We appreciate that presentation. Now on to our next prize, which will be presented by our Director of Operations, Gigi. Gigi, it's all yours.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Our second prize today is a $50 Amazon gift card. Please note, you must be in attendance in order to receive the prize. Let's spin the wheel. Congratulations, Mr. So. You will be receiving your prize within the next 24 hours. An email will be sent to you with your electronic gift card. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us. Happy learning, and we'll see you again.
Thank you so much. Now we will move on to our next topic presented by Jose. Jose will be going over Slim.
Great, thank you, Ren. Yes. All right, let's talk about how to add and create listings in the MLS. I'm going to share my screen again. All right. So once you have all the documentation ready to go and you're ready to add the listing into the MLS, you simply, once you log in, you want to go ahead and access our listings menu at the top, and you want to go down to Slim, Simple Listing Input Module Manager, Listing, Add, Edit. We select the type of property we're going to be adding. Click on residential there. And the first thing you'll see here under the Slim dashboard on the very top right side is a big blue button that says Create New Listing. So we're going to go ahead and click on Create New Listing and start our adding and entering the listing into the system. The first thing you'll see here is a couple of wizard questions that you have to select. At the top, you'll see the different property types that are for sale. If you have a lease listing, then you'll go ahead and select the lease button below. We also do have a privacy option there available if you want to enter your listing as a private listing. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and select for sale single family. So I'll click on that. It'll take me to the next step, which is enter the APN number. I can go ahead and enter that there, or if I don't have the APN number, I can search for that APN by entering the address. So I go ahead and select address, and I'm going to type in the two required fields, which is street number and street name, and hit continue at the bottom or search. And that'll go ahead and give me the results here on the right side. I'm going to go ahead and select the correct property address. And that'll take me to the next section, which will be to review the public records information. I want to just go ahead and confirm that all the information from public records is correct. Anything that needs to be corrected on the white box of each field, I can go ahead and enter that correction there. Once I go ahead and review the public records details and information, then all I do is hit next at the top right here. And that will take me to the pin location in the area requested or suggested for the address that I've entered. So if the pin location is not in the correct location, I can go ahead and move that pin there, that little red target pin there, and just by dragging and dropping in the correct location. So sometimes the pin would be off by a street, then you can just go ahead and move that around and drop it in the right correct location. And then also want to confirm the area. We suggest that based on the APN number and the location of that property. Then we can go ahead and click on next, and that'll take me to where I can now start entering all the information, all the data for my listing that I'm entering. So here we can go ahead and go through all the different fields that I can enter information for my listing. There are some required items that you must fill out here on the right side of the Slim input form. You see all the required items. So these items must be filled out or completed before I can go ahead and submit my listing and make it a complete listing. So I can jump to all these different required items. So if I just want to fill out all these required items, I can just go ahead and jump to them. If I want to go to like style, I can click on style and the input sheet will jump to that field. And then I can go ahead and complete that just by making my selection or entering a data there. So you can just go through the required items if you wish, but we always recommend to fill out as much information as possible on your listings. Some items are not required, and sometimes that that information can be useful when other agents are searching for listings. But here on the left side, we also have different sections that we could jump to. For example, if I want to go ahead and just jump to the remarks section and enter the information for my, the description of the property, I can go into the marketing remarks. By the way, marketing remarks is available to the public. So there's some information that you may not want to include in this section. So if you are not sure what you're typing in the description, you can always contact the help desk and we can make sure that you're in compliance. We do have the agent remarks where any information that you put in here it's fine. It's available to agents only. So we go ahead and go through the whole process of creating the listing, entering all the information. We do have different sections here at the top that we can jump to. We can go to the contract section. And if you do have a coming soon listing, we can go ahead and create and select yes if it's a coming soon. We do have a webinar training on coming soon if you want to learn about how coming soon works. But we can go ahead and enter our listing as a coming soon. We can enter all the information here as a price, the list date, the expiration date, and the commission that will be providing to the buyer's agent. But another section here under contract is the agent's information. You can enter a listing and co-list it with up to 2 co-listing agents. All you do here is just click on the plus button there, and you can search for that agent that you're going to be co-listing with. So if I search here for Jonathan, for example, and I can go ahead and select, and he will be my co-listing agent number 2 there. I can add up to 2 co-listing agents per listing. All right. So I can move on and go to the next step or the next section, which will be if the property is green certified. I can enter all that information under that green section there. We just learned about showings. So if you want to enable showings plus while you're entering or adding a listing, you can go ahead and select that option to enable showings. Photos, we can add up to 75 photos per listings. All you do here is just go to the add edit photos. You can always add photos afterwards as well once your listing is complete. But all you do is just drag and drop here, or you can browse for your photo files. Just make sure they're all JPEG, no bigger than 5 megabytes. And you can always add photos afterwards, like I mentioned. So that's photos. Documents, you can attach documents to your listings as well. You can add up to 10 documents, either PDF or JPEG files as well. You just go ahead and browse for the files, and you can add up to 10 documents per listing. And the last thing we can add here or create is media. So you can add a virtual tour, like if you have a link that you want to add to your listing and create a virtual tour. This is available to the public. So make sure that it's not branded. Any contact information, names, or any information on the virtual tour that is not allowed for under the virtual tour. So make sure it's not branded. If it is branded, then you can add that under the property website. But one of the new features we have is the video links, where you can add up to 10 videos where either YouTube videos or Vimeo video links. Okay, and all you do is just click on add video. You can add the link to that video. Again, either YouTube link or a Vimeo link. You can add some captions to that video, and just make sure that if that link or that video that you're adding is branded, make sure that you check that box and say that it is branded. Okay, and then that will be only accessible by MLS agents only. Okay, once you add all that information there, the last thing you want to do is click proceed to submit, and that will make your listing active right away. You can also save your draft if you want to come back, and continue adding your listing. Just click on save draft, and then that will save it as an incomplete listing. Let's say you do save the draft and you save it as an incomplete listing. Again, just access the slim dashboard, and in here you'll see the incomplete tab. You can go ahead and click on incomplete, click edit, and it allows you to continue with creating your listing. If your listing is completed, it'll show up as an active listing here, and all your completed listings will show up here. Either if it's active, sold, pending, withdrawn, canceled, all those listings will show up here. You can make some changes, excuse me, by clicking edit. You can also add more photos by clicking edit photos here. You can edit the status if it's changed, pending, sold. You just click on edit status. And the last thing you can edit from here as well is the price. So those are little shortcuts that you can make some changes on your listing. One other thing I do want to mention is when you want to create let's say you want to copy a listing, all right, we can also select a listing, and we can click on copy listing, and that will create a new listing. And then you can add, save you some time when you want to add a listing that you already had in the past and you want to put it back on the market, or maybe you want to change the property type. For example, maybe you have a for sale and a lease. Then you can go ahead and copy, save you some time, and change the property type. So when I click on copy listing, it's going to ask me if I want to use existing photos. I can say continue. And if I do want to change the type, let's say this is a for sale, and I want to change that property type, I'll just go here and jump to structure info. And you'll see a change property type button there. Click on that button. Are you sure you want to change that? Continue. And then you can select now, let's say now it's for lease as well. I can select lease, click done, and that'll create a new listing. And it'll save me some time because all the information that I had, it'll transfer over with the photos and videos. And now I just have to fill out the required items for the lease property type. So that's how you enter a listing, and that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Jose. Next, Jonathan will present different ways that you could market your listings using Vesta Plus. Jonathan, you're on mute.
All right, guys, sorry about that. All right, we're going to get started. This will be my last segment, I promise. So everyone here, I'll be talking about highlighting various tools that you can use to increase the exposure of your listing. So we all know how important marketing your listing is. The more people that can see it, the better. So we're going to go over a couple of different ways on the MLS that we can assist you in enhancing your listing to a larger audience. And the first one is going to be the International MLS, or IMLS for short. So the International MLS provides international exposure of your listing to a large and diverse audience. If you have a listing on the MLS, the syndication will automatically be set to yes for IMLS. So first I'm going to show you just so that you can make sure that your listing is getting syndicated to that website and through their different partnerships and portals where you can find it in the listing input. So when you're on your listing, there's a contract tab that you can go to and a syndication section within that contract tab. With syndications, you can go down here to the bottom and you can ensure that the International MLS is set to yes. Again, it's set to yes by default, so your listing will automatically go there, but if for whatever reason you want to block that, you can hit no. But this is where you can control that. So now let's show you how you can find the International MLS and the benefits that it can provide you. So from the quick links portlet, you can access the International MLS with the link there that says the International MLS. So now once you go into the International MLS, you can already access it from this widget. It will automatically have your MLS account information by clicking on that. And when you go into manage account, you can make sure that your information is also correct. Sorry, not manager account, agent directory. Agent directory will have your information. And one cool feature with the IMLS is the ability to include your spoken languages. So this will come in handy when visitors use the agent directory to search for a real estate professional in the location that they're interested in. So this isn't just increasing the exposure of your listings, it's also increasing your exposure as an agent. If there's an international agent that's maybe looking to cooperate and work with a agent in our area, they'll be able to find you with their directory. So their agent directory can be used to locate any agents across the different countries that they have access to. So it's over 60 plus countries, over millions of people that are able to access and view this through the hundreds of portals and brokerage sites that they've partnered with. So here, for example, I can enter California. I can search for agents in Beverly Hills. I can hit search, and our inventory and our roster is already appearing here. So you'll see yourself, your information, access to your inventory will also be made available so they can see which listings you have on the market. Your listings will be exposed to, again, countless countries around the world. So here, agents will be able to search. And it's not only agents that are using IMLS, but they've also partnered with hundreds of different portals. So they have hundreds of portals that other visitors of those portals can view IMLS listings, which now include CLAW listings and MLS listings. So the international MLS is a great way to increase that international exposure when you are viewing a listing. It will have a lead generation option as well.
Jonathan, do you mind showing, we had a question to how to go international, if you could repeat that portion. So if
Sure.
member has a listing, how do they choose to make it
Yes.
become available on the IMLS?
Yeah, so again, this should be something that's already enabled for you. We've kind of retroactively did this once we've established this partnership. But within the listing itself, you want to be in the contract tab and in the syndication section. This syndication will tell us where you want your listing to be sent out to, and the international MLS is one of those options there. So on the search, your listing will be gaining exposure. Let me jump back into this and view one of our listings here. So you'll see on the left-hand side that visitors will see your listing information. They'll see your contact details as well. And if they input their information here, it's a lead capturing submission. So it'll send you an email if there's any inquiries. All right, so now let's move on to our next great tool. And that's going to be our very own publication, the Southern California Homes and Estates magazine. So for those of you that may not be aware, our magazine is a great way to enhance your listing. It's a weekly magazine that gets distributed every Monday to over 17,000 plus agents and brokers. We get hundreds of thousands of views on this list, on this magazine, not just through the print version, but also digitally. So we have social media views, we have website views, and we also have a dedicated app. So you can download the app, the SoCal Homes and Estates app, and you can view the magazine on the go digitally every month, every week it gets updated. So every week you'll be able to access the newest open houses, the newest listings, the newest version of the magazine. You can download the app on your app stores on Apple, Google, or Amazon devices. So on top of that, it's an amazing way to market your open houses on caravan days. So here's an example of our latest version of the magazine. As you can see here, we have beautiful color ads on glossy pages. So if you feel the book and have it in your hands, it's beautiful, it looks amazing. You can submit your own ads that you've created. And we've also made it easy for agents to who don't have maybe art departments or maybe don't have time to design something. We have everywhere from a full page ad template that you can use to advertise your listing, to the smaller showcase ads. So let me go over to our showcase area. And these are kind of our signature ads for the magazine. So these showcase ads will include a color image of the property, the description, and some information regarding the open house. As an agent, you can check out the magazine and view the ads and view the open houses. Open houses are going to be sorted by the day of the open house and the area that the open house is held in. And the benefit of this is that within our website, we have all this listing information already when you create it. So all you need to do is choose what type of ad you would like to place, and that information will be transferred over from your listing. So just select which listing, and you can update the details and everything else like that. But you don't have to fill in everything. We already provide and start entering some of the information for you based on what you've already provided. So you can choose, when it comes to advertising, you can choose what you want, from full-blown 2-page spreads to full-color ads, black and white templates, our signature showcase ads. So we have a variety of options available at different price points as well. If you want to learn more, or if you want to place an ad, you can click on listings from the top of our menu bar, and there's a section there that will say homes and estates. This will allow you to check out the latest version. It also allows you to view the past versions, so you can see past issues and view those online. And placing an ad is very simple. You just go to the ad creation portion of it. You select what type of ad you would like to upload or create. So you'll see our available templates that we have. You can upload your own ads, or you can always email us if you have some very special page like the cover or a 2-page spread that you want to make sure the pages are appearing side by side to get that nice visual. So again, if you want to learn more about that, you can visit our website. We always have a banner at the top where you can view the latest magazine. Make sure to download the app so you have it with you on the go. And we also have a portlet here as well that can help you manage your ads by purchasing and creating your own ads, creating your own open houses. The last thing I want to discuss very quickly is going to be advertising on social media platforms. This includes websites like Instagram, Facebook, Google, and Waze, platforms that have millions of users. So what we can do, or what we offer, is HomeSnap ads. HomeSnap ads will allow you to run a social media campaign for your listing. It's as simple as going into our Slim dashboard, selecting the listing that you want to run a campaign for, and clicking on the social media campaign button. This will take you over to HomeSnap over here, where you can then see what the ad will look like for your listing. And you can see the different platforms that your listing will be advertised to. Creating a campaign is simple. All you need to do is allocate your budget. So it's very customizable. You can choose how much of a budget you want to allocate to the different platforms. And the budget that you allocate will designate how many views and clicks and the length of time that the ad will be running. So the biggest benefit to HomeSnap ads is that the campaign is all managed in one central place. You don't have to worry about going into Facebook or Instagram or each of these different platforms to manage everything and view the analytics. It's all controlled within the MLS, and you have one easy to use place to view all the metrics, view the demographics of who's viewing your ads, and get the leads that your ads have been generating. So that's it for me, and we'll move on to our next presentation. Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Now we will move on to our keynote speaker, Hannah Jones. Hannah Jones is joining us from Realtor.com. Hannah focuses on creating data-driven insights into economic and real estate market activity. She leverages her experience to inform consumers, agents, and other stakeholders engaged in buying and selling homes. Prior to joining Realtor.com in 2021, Hannah worked in engineering research, marketing, and business development for Emerson in the US and Asia. Hannah earned her master's degree in economics from the University of Texas at Austin, where she also received her bachelor's in both mechanical engineering and economics. Hannah lives in sunny Austin, Texas, which I think, Hannah, might not be so sunny today. Am I right?
No, not so much. Honestly, gloomy, spitty Austin, Texas is how it is right now. Well, thank you. Here I will.
Just before you get started, I also want to share. So if anyone has any questions after Hannah's presentation, please type it in the chat, and we'll have Hannah and her team respond to those, and we'll email those out afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay. All right, there we go. Can y'all see that okay?
I don't believe we see your screen.
Okay, sorry. There we go. What about now?
Yes, it's loading.
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
No
Okay.
worries.
Hey everyone, my name is Hannah Jones and I am an economic data analyst on the economic research team at realtor.com. And so today I'm going to walk through the housing market, both looking at the national level as well as local trends. So here's a more detailed agenda. We're going to look at national economic and housing forecast, housing supply and demand, and kind of what is driving that at this point in time, local market trends, seeing like where things are moving nationwide, and then we'll zoom in on the Southern California area, and then I'll give you all some resources. So first, the national housing market forecast. So as you know, we all know the major theme of the housing market right now is affordability. We're seeing prices that are still high, mortgage rates that have grown over the last year significantly. And so buyers are really feeling constrained by affordability. So based on our forecast, we think that mortgage rates are going to remain elevated through the end of the year. We see that the federal funds rate is remaining elevated, which means that that keeps a floor under mortgage rates. They don't move together necessarily, but the federal funds rate does keep a floor under mortgage rates, which means that they will continue to be elevated through the end of the year. We
Sorry to interrupt, but it looks like there's a screen covering your slide.
Oh, I'm so sorry. How about that?
Perfect.
Great. Okay, sorry about that. Here, let me resize that a little bit. There we go. And so we expect to see, existing home price growth to still be up year on year. We've seen that prices have been relatively sticky. They've not been coming down at the rate that I think a lot of buyers would wish that they would. And so we're expecting to see price growth still up 5% year over year. But as we discussed, a lot of buyers are not able to participate in this market. So we expect to see existing home sales down about 14.1% year over year, and for sale inventory to be up slightly over last year by about 23%. We expect builders to be responding to this lack of buyer demand as well by slowing down housing starts by about 5.4% in 2023 compared to 2022. We expect the homeownership rate to stay kind of where it is, and for rent growth to increase a little bit. So, overall, we just expect affordability to continue to be a theme through the end of the year as, the Fed continues to try and bring inflation down to a healthy level. Now, should inflation come down to a healthy level, that means that the housing market, the mortgage rate environment, all of that will be better long term. But for now, it's going to be a challenge for the housing market. When we look at the economy as a whole, we expect to see slowed economic expansion. So smaller GDP growth in 2022, an unemployment rate slightly higher. Right now, it's around 3.5%. We expect for it to be slightly higher at the end of the year as contractionary, federal policy, federal funds rate policy, starts to influence the jobs market. We expect inflation to come down to about 3.9% by the end of the year. So this is not quite to the 2% target, but it's definitely moving in that direction. So we expect, this high interest rate environment, to essentially start to really have an effect on the economy, which is the goal. So that will help the economy be healthier long term. And so now we can look at the factors that influence housing supply and demand. So if we look over the last decade at household formations and housing starts, we start to see this trend emerge where, households keep forming. More and more people are, getting married, moving into homes, moving out of, maybe their parents' homes, leaving college, whatever it may be, and forming new households. But we're not seeing housing starts keep up with that. And so over the last 10 years, we've seen this gap emerge where there have been about 6.5 million fewer housing starts than household formations. So that just means, not enough homes for the number of people who need homes. Now, if we look, if we include multifamily housing, which is mostly used for rental, so it doesn't really help with the sales picture, but if we include multifamily housing, this gap, shrinks to about 2.3 million homes. And so that means that people are finding places to live, but there isn't the right amount of supply to keep prices where buyers are hoping to see them. And so the reason this really matters at this point in time is we see this large generational cohort, the younger millennial cohort, as you can see, is relatively large. It's sizable. And so this is these are a lot of Americans who are moving into that first-time home buyer age, looking at the housing market, getting excited to buy a new home or to buy their first home. And there's just not inventory there that's at that price level that first-time home buyers need. And so what this really looks like is that there are more than 45 million, adults in the prime first-time home buyer window, which is that 26 to 35 age range between 2017 and 2025. And so this just means that there's this huge amount of demand, and we're just not seeing home supply to meet that demand. And so, as you can see in the chart on the right, we're starting to be on that downward slope of the number of, households in that home buying range. But because of the unaffordability of the pandemic, it's likely that, some of those first-time home buyers are also pushing off that purchase to wait for affordability. So we continue to see this huge cohort that's moving into the housing market and looking for a home. And so speaking of, unaffordability, we see, mortgage rates are up 1.65 percentage points from 1 year ago. They're up, nearly 3.5 percentage points from pandemic lows. And this is really what is starting to hurt home buyers. We're seeing home prices are still elevated, mortgage rates are high, and so there's just not much flexibility. It's really hard to figure out, what do you do in that situation? Housing payments are just prohibitively expensive at this point. And so in response to that, a lot of buyers have just stepped back out of the market. But also we've seen that a lot of buyers have just increased the share of income that they're spending on housing. So if we look back to December 2019, taking into account the median home listing price, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate, and the median family income, we see that homes on average in the US were spending about 18.4% of their income, or that's the amount that the median home would cost, would be about 18.4% of the median family income. Now, in March 2023, we've seen that increase up to about 30.8%. So that's a huge increase, 12+% in just 3 and some change years. And that is driven by both the increase in median home listing price as well as the increase in mortgage rate. Now, are buyers really doing this? We see that buyers are increasing the amount of their share of income that they're spending on housing. And so we did a little thought experiment and looked at, okay, imagine we increase the median family income by 5%. How does that change the home price that someone can afford? Now we look at, if we take the mortgage rate and we drop that, how does that impact the amount of house that someone can afford? And then we looked at increasing the payment share of income and how that can affect what home buyers can afford. And by far, excuse me, the payment share of income increase has the largest impact on the amount of home that a buyer can afford. I'm sorry about that. And so looking at this example, increasing the payment share by about 5% can increase the amount of home that a buyer can afford by close to $90,000. Speaking of sunny Austin, Texas, it's very allergy Austin, Texas as well. Sorry about that, you guys. And so all of this is to say that, home buyers have been increasing that share of income they're spending on homes over the last couple of years. And because of that, that keeps prices elevated. So sellers haven't had to drop prices as much because buyers are kind of meeting them up there and spending more of their income on housing. And, you know, of course, we don't like recommend that buyers move in that direction because, of course, you should never be buying something you can't afford, but we're just seeing that more and more. And that starts to explain why home prices have been so sticky, is because, you know, buyers have adapted their thinking and are willing to kind of step out of what they might have previously considered affordable. And so, you know, speaking of affordability, when we look at, you know, where do we expect to see a bunch of demand nationwide? You know, we forecasted the top 10 housing markets of 2023. And as y'all see, this is all, you know, Northeast, South, and Midwest. So essentially, these housing markets didn't see that kind of price growth in the pandemic. And so they are now, you know, seeing a little bit more price growth, but they're still relatively affordable compared to a lot of markets in the nation. And so they're, you know, well poised to grow in 2023, whereas some of these more expensive markets are markets that have seen more price growth, like in the West or parts of the Sun Belt, are kind of going to see prices, you know, level off or come down a little bit. So similarly, when we look at markets for first-time home buyers, we see a lot of markets that are in the Northeast and the Midwest. You know, they didn't see the boom of the pandemic activity, and they, you know, have relatively good price to income ratios. So, you know, first-time home buyers can afford more in these markets, and so that's where, you know, we expect to see a lot of demand. And so, what this means for, you know, a region such as the West that, you know, has seen higher prices and maybe has seen less demand, this can be an opportunity for, you know, buyers have a little bit less competition. There's a little bit, you know, less demand because of how unaffordable things are. So buyers who are able to stay in the market, you know, can have more of their, you know, pick of the litter, if you will. And so now we will zoom in on specifically Southern California housing and economic trends. So looking first at, you know, kind of what sets up the landscape for, you know, Southern California and, you know, how buyers and sellers are set up. So we look at unemployment and like how the jobs market is. And so in both Riverside and LA, we see that unemployment is below pre-pandemic levels. So this is a great position for buyers and sellers to be in. It gives them a lot of flexibility. You know, by and large, people are employed, which means that you have a little bit more flexibility to make choices about housing. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, all of a sudden housing is affordable, but it does mean that you are in a good position to make choices because the labor market is pretty tight and pretty strong. And if we look at housing starts, we see that housing starts were roughly flat year over year in 2022, which is similar to the US. And so, you know, this area isn't lagging the US, it's not losing ground. You know, we still see solid housing starts year over year. And then in terms of housing permits were up 6.1% in 2022 as you know, more investment was going into housing. This is a great sign for that housing supply issue we talked about. So, you know, the more permits, the more building, that means more housing supply, and that takes a little bit of that upward pressure off of prices. So we can step into the listing trends. And so this is all data that is collected from Realtor.com. And so first, looking at active inventory. So as of March 2023, we released that data today, and we see that the LA and Riverside metros both are seeing inventory growth year over year, but are below pre-pandemic levels. So again, back to that housing supply issue, you know, housing supply is still down compared to pre-pandemic, but, you know, improving compared to, you know, the red hot markets in 2021 and 2022. Now, an interesting trend that we see is that that top black line is total properties. So that is including homes that are active, so on the market available to buy, as well as homes that are pending, which means under contract. And so in that red hot market period, we see between 2020 and 2022, about the middle of 2022, we see that there are more homes that are under contract on the market than active. And so how that plays out in real life is, someone sees a home, wants to go, tour it, wants to put in an offer, wants to, figure out more about this home, and immediately it's off the market. It's under contract. And so that opportunity is taken away. Now we are seeing more active inventory than pending inventory. And so this creates an opportunity for buyers to have a little bit more time, a little bit more flexibility to really consider their options in housing. And so as we were discussing with the property count trend, we see that property count is, active listings are growing and have been, year over year since the beginning of 2022. We see a little bit of a decline in March, but overall we see that property counts are increasing, inventory is increasing, it's moving in the right direction, though just not quite at the pre-pandemic level. And if we look at this instead at the county level, we see, the same trend. Property count is, active listings are increasing year over year, and, gaining some momentum, but just not quite back to those pre-pandemic levels. And so if we look at prices, low inventory, demand, sizable demand, that's going to drive prices higher. And that is what we have seen in the Southern California area over the last few years. And so in LA, we've seen a little bit more of a bumpy price trend. Prices have gone up and down, but now sit at about the median listing price was at $1 million in March 2023, which is up 2.5% year over year, whereas Riverside saw prices down about 2.5% year over year, at a more affordable level. So that Riverside trend seems to kind of track with the US better, and then the LA trend seems to be a little bit more dramatic. And we see that also when we're looking at year over year price growth in these metros. Riverside is a slightly more expensive market, and so it tends to lead that US trend. So listing prices started to lose steam a little bit earlier than the US, but generally those track together. Whereas LA saw big price growth, did some price decline in late 2021, and now is kind of leveled out around that 2.5%. And we see that trend as well in the county level data. So we see that San Bernardino and Riverside counties are seeing prices start to come down year over year, whereas LA and Orange County prices are still up year over year. Now, if we instead look at median listing price per square foot, that starts to help control for home size. And so, median price per square foot, there is some locational aspect to that, or some locational influence, of course. But it does start to control for, larger homes are more expensive, smaller homes are less expensive. If we look at price per square foot, then that starts to control for some of that size difference. And we see that price per square foot in Los Angeles reached a new high in March 2023 of a median listing price per square foot of $625, up 2.6% year on year, whereas Los Angeles and Riverside didn't see quite that same level of growth. However, price per square foot hasn't dipped negative in the US, in Riverside, or in LA yet. So we're still seeing that while, so essentially what that means is that smaller homes are being sold. So we're not seeing that price per square foot is starting to decline, which just means that declining median listing price in Riverside just means that smaller homes are being sold. Whereas, LA and the US are still seeing growth in both median listing price and median listing price per square foot. Similarly, we see those trends at the county level as well. And so this one is pretty interesting. If we're looking at the amount of time that homes are spending on the market, So if we're looking back in 2017 through, about early 2022, we see that homes in LA and Riverside spent a lot less time on market than the US. LA is a hot market, homes move fast. And Riverside homes are moving a lot faster than the US as well, which is particularly impressive considering these are more expensive markets in the US, and we're just seeing people buy homes faster, and homes are spending less time on the market. However, in kind of early 2022, we start to see those trends or that time on market compress, where LA, Riverside, and the US are all seeing kind of similar time on market as unaffordability starts to catch up to West Coast markets, and homes are just sitting for longer as demand wears off. Now, the upside of this is that homes are spending longer on the market, which means that for buyers, they're having a little bit more time and a little bit more flexibility to negotiate or to weigh their options instead of having to move lightning fast to get a home. So as we discussed, time on market started to grow compared to the previous year around mid-2022, and continues to grow relative to last year as we enter the spring. And so now this is new listings. And so these are fresh listings that come onto the market. And we're seeing that, across the US, as well as in these metros, we're seeing that new listing counts are starting to kind of fall off as sellers, many of whom are also buyers, aren't listing their homes at the same rate as they were in previous years. So generally, a lot of times this means that sellers have a relatively pessimistic view of their ability to either sell their home for what they want to sell it for, or buy a new home after they sell their home. And so we're seeing fewer new listings on the market. And so this creates a good opportunity for sellers who are, willing to kind of take a step and put a home out there, because we are still seeing, high demand and high viewership on homes that are well priced and well maintained. And so, sellers who can work with their agent and figure out, what is the right price and what needs to be changed about the home to make sure that it is, move-in ready, looking good. Sellers can still be really, really successful in this market, and can find enthusiastic buyers who are waiting to see something fresh on the market, because there's just not as much on the market right now. And so here's the year-over-year trend. We see that new listings are declining year over year and have been since early 2022 as unaffordability has caught up to buyers and sellers, and sellers aren't as eager to buy into the market at a higher mortgage rate. Would rather stay locked into their current mortgage rate and wait things out. And so we look at market hotness. And so that's a combination of a hot market is a market where homes are not spending very long on the market relative to their area, and they're attracting a higher number of viewers per property than their area. And so we see, that this hotness is being driven by a mixture of affordability and desirability in the Southern California area. And so, of course, I'd be remiss to not talk about rental trends. So we're seeing that LA rents are kind of starting to level off, up just 0.9% in March, and down from last summer's peak, and Riverside rents are starting to decline. And so this is good news for people who aren't ready to be in the for sale market, aren't ready to necessarily buy a home, and are trying to figure out how to afford rents. However, we did an analysis of the highest rent burdened metros in the US. And so we're seeing that both LA and Riverside are in the top 5 rent burdened metros in February, where the typical renter in LA is spending about 40% of their income on rent and about 32.5% in Riverside. And so this, starts to beg the question, is it worth renting over buying? And so we looked into that as well. And it seems that, based on the really high prices in LA, it is still more economical to rent than buy for a lot of buyers, if you're looking at, starter homes. However, in Riverside, we're seeing that the typical starter home, which is a home that is 0 to 2 bedrooms, we looked at the median price, and it is slightly more affordable to rent or to buy in Riverside than to rent. That creates a lot of opportunities for these buyers who are hoping to get into the market and figure out where they can afford to buy. We also took a look at cross-market demand, and so that looks at where listing views are coming from and where they're going to. And so first we look at where are people viewing LA area listings from. And so about 64% of views within the LA area are coming from within the same metro, and about 75% are from within California. And so a lot of buyers or potential buyers coming into the LA metro are from within the area and are local buyers. The top out-of-state viewer is New York City. But when it comes to people looking at the LA metro, a lot are from within the area. However, if we look instead at where are LA viewers looking, we see that about 42% of LA viewers are looking out of metro. And so the top out of metro place that LA viewers are looking is Las Vegas, followed by Phoenix, Portland, and Dallas. So slightly more affordable markets. And then finally, we took a look at which homes in the Southern California area drew the most views in March. So this is kind of a fun game, but we just looked at what listing pages are drawing the most views. And so the first one is this $64 million home in Pacific Palisades, 8-bed, 9.5 baths. So kind of that luxury end of the spectrum. When we see a lot of views on properties like this, it's usually looky-loos, lots of people looking at very beautiful, very expensive homes, not necessarily because they can afford them, but because they're fun to look at and they're very beautiful. But on the other side, we also saw significant views on this bayfront bungalow in Newport Beach, priced more affordably at around $650,000, for people looking for something affordable and cute and special in a way. The next one is this investment property in Ontario, California. So this one is in need of either being flipped or could be a tear down, but is at a good price point and drew a lot of views, likely due to the price point and the price point and the investment opportunity. And then finally, we see this home in Riverside County with 22 acres drew a lot of views as well. So really, we're seeing attention to all different kinds of homes, from the super luxury to an affordable bungalow to an investment property to a bunch of land in the country. We're seeing all different kinds of listings drawing a lot of attention, which just means that all different kinds of buyers are out there. So I'll go through some of the resources that we have on Realtor.com. So we have a YouTube channel where we do a monthly video. We also publish weekly housing trends, which you can find on our blog, and we also have a Twitter. But so all of the data that I use today for all of those listing charts, all of that is publicly available. If you go to Realtor.com/research/data, you'll see this chart here up on the top left, where you can download data for either the current month or all of our historical data, which goes back to about 2016, 2017. At different geography levels. And so if you want to dig deeper into certain zip codes or certain counties, you can find that data there, as well as our weekly national data and our monthly market hotness data. We also publish all types of, we publish commentaries on different housing indicators, as well as different deep dives on, hot markets, how the economy is doing, how the housing market's doing, all of that. You can find that on realtor.com/research, where you can also sign up for our newsletter that we send out weekly that summarizes the weekly housing trends, as well as a key article. So I blew through that, and that is what I have for y'all today. So thank you so much for having me. Please, if y'all have questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you can send them in, we will collect them and I'll share them with my team, and we can run through them and get those back to you.
Sure. And you could send the questions to marketing@themls.com, and we'll make sure to forward it to Hannah and her team, and then we'll share the responses along with the recording of today's event. And Hannah, would we also have I'm assuming will be able to have a copy of your presentation, the PDF?
Oh, absolutely. Yep, I can send the PDF version over right after this.
Excellent. So, and we'll be sending that out to all the attendees. Thank you so much, Hannah, for joining us. And now we're going to go to our final prize, which is actually sponsored by Realtor.com. It's an iPad Pro. So let me go ahead and share my screen and introduce our help desk manager, Jorge, who will be presenting the prize.
Thanks, Ryan. Great. So thanks everyone for attending this great learning event. I hope that you guys are learning a lot. Thank you so much. So yeah, like Ren said, our final prize today is an iPad Pro sponsored by Realtor.com. And just a reminder, you need to be in attendance in order to receive the prize. So we'll go ahead and spin the wheel now, Ren. Thank you. Who's the lucky winner? All right, Dawn Welch. Thank you, Ren. Congratulations, Dawn. The prize will be shipped to you, and you will receive an email with the tracking number within 24 hours. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, Dawn, and thank you to Realtor.com for sponsoring the final prize, the iPad Pro. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time this morning to learn about all the exciting new products we have and some of the great tools we have available to you. We hope you were able to make good use of the information. As always, we have webinars on each topic. So please do sign up for webinars if you'd like to learn more about any of these topics. We will be sending a recording of today's event along with the Realtor.com slides. I hope you have a wonderful day and wonderful end of the week. Thank you so much. Goodbye.